Hey dudes, this is Democracy 3 in Africa, and I'm going to walk you through a playthrough of the First Nation on the hardest difficulty and just get a general idea how not to be assassinated by feminists and how to balance your budget and not have the game end. So new game, Mauritius is the Republic of Mauritius is a small island nation in the Indian Ocean, 2,000 kilometers from the southeast coast of the African mainland. It's kind of close to India, huh? It's known as the African miracle because it doesn't suck, and that's a miracle. It was started as a plantation to grow sugar, but eventually it transitioned to a mostly service economy and broke free from the British peoples. Yeah, and then it's been like super democratic. It's one of the most democratic African nations. So I suspect that they put this first because it's the easiest one. So it's a good one to start with, I guess. Income inequality index, that's men versus women, is 39%. So it's one of their biggest starting problems is that women don't make any money. They got 90% literacy, though, which puts them in a good position to get a high-tech economy, which will grow the GDP and take over the universe. So let's play these dudes. We'll set the difficulty to max so that it's hard not to get assassinated. Make sure hurricanes and earthquakes are turned on just because I've never seen those before and it'd be fun. And play. So the first thing we want to do is look at our major problems, which is the lack of GDP. So we're going to spend money to make money because that's how this game works. It's all about spending money to make money. We got healthcare problems, which will impact our GDP. Unemployment problems will kind of solve themselves. We're not going to actually specifically work on unemployment problems, but they'll just go away as our economy gets bigger. We need much better education, and our poverty is a problem, but it might stay a problem. I think we kind of like having a lot of poor people that really love us instead of getting rid of poor people. Excuse me. I think poor people and poverty are two separate concepts, though, because a poor person who has lots of social services and is living a good life and taking care of a family and stuff and has a job is different from a poverty-stricken person who can't afford to feed their family or get a job. So we start out with 26 political capital and some reasonably good ministers, although this one's not great and that one's not great. We're getting 26 per turn. We start with 26. Our max is 52, so we could just skip to the next turn and we'd be fine. What's the most pressing issue facing us? It's, I think, the worker strike. Yeah, the worker strike, which will go away as soon as poor people can earn more money. And poor people earn more money if you pay them when they lose their jobs, if you give them grants to send their kids to school, if you tax them less, if you make them cheaper houses to live in, if you make their wages go up, and if you have a bustling black market for them to buy goods in, which is not an approach we're going to take to trying to solve the poor people wage crisis. But we are going to go for unemployment benefits. Let's just make sure that when you're out of work, you're rich. This will fight homelessness to a large degree, fight poverty to a large degree. It will raise poor people's earnings by up to 12% because apparently poor people spend a lot of their time between jobs. It'll make the socialists happy. It'll make the poor people happy. The unemployment will go up. No, it'll make the unemployed happy. And it'll make the capitalists sad, but not very sad. They're only a little bit sad. So basically the big downside here is that it costs $3.69 billion, which is almost like 25% as much money as our entire nation makes. So it costs a ton. But it makes everybody happy, and it fights a lot of our nation's problems, and it's just generally really good for the long term for our nation. All right, so that should get rid of the workers' strike all by itself. There's a current national disaster because our infrastructure is not strong enough to deal with when hurricanes and flooding happens. People can't get out of the area fast enough. So we need better roads or bus lanes or something, and we need just better spending on science in general because that will help us to get out of the technological backwater that we're in, to fight unemployment, It'll cause more people to be employed by the government, and it'll make people who are employed by the government happier. It'll raise our GDP significantly, like 5.5% higher GDP. It'll make us as a nation much more energy efficient, which will increase our productivity and make foreign nations like us a little bit better by reducing our carbon emissions. And it will increase our technology. So it's good in every way, but again, it costs $4 billion. Same price as paying paying people when they're between jobs so that they don't have to live on the street just because they got fired. So again, great for our nation, costs a lot of money, gonna raise the deficit greatly. People are gonna downgrade our credit. People are gonna be mad at us because we don't have, we don't seem very trustworthy. Our government doesn't seem very stable, that kind of stuff. So spending money to hopefully in the future, hopefully before the next election, make money. We're gonna ban female genital mutilation because, like, we don't even need to discuss it. Why wouldn't we ban that? Imagine if you had like a female genital mutilation based economy where that was the source of all of your money. I don't know. Like, there's no good reason not to ban that. Community policing. This is awesome. Basically, get people to fight. Call the cops when they see crime. That's awesome. Let's do that. It's basically free. And it fights crime, and it makes people happy, and it's awesome. And then any other free policies now that we're out of political capital? No, nothing else is completely free. So since we can't do anything else for free, we're going to move to the next turn. But first, let's look at whether or not we should... Oh, we can't fire our ministers anyway. So, next turn. Oil drilling opportunity. We can either help the asthma epidemic to go away, improve the environment, and reduce the happiness of our capitalists and reduce our GDP, or we can increase our GDP at the cost of the environment, and rely more on foreign oil, right? So I'm gonna baby drill, because I'm trying to grow my economy enough so that I can balance my budget, and drilling seems like it'd be good for that. The Rural Alliance have warned that many farmers and rural citizens feel they have nothing to lose when it comes to fighting the government. So farmers are going to murder me in my sleep. Doesn't seem very likely, but okay. Lots of rurals. None of them are even angry. Why does it say that rural people are angry? They're mad about child labor. Currently, child labor is banned. I could make it totally legal, which would raise my GDP, make rural people happier, make poor people happier, make youths very angry, make liberals very angry, make foreign relations decrease, education would decrease because they're not in schools, and reduce the democraticness of our nation. I'm not a big fan of child labor, but I'm surprised how angry the rural people are that we're not letting their kids work. I would think they'd be okay with that, but okay, I guess they should... They think that it should be up to them whether or not their children work, not up to the government. So that kind of makes sense. Anyway, what else is making the rural people that mad? They're happy that we're getting foreign aid. They're happy that our agriculture is somewhat efficient. Our infrastructure could be better. This isn't very expensive, and it makes our motorists happy, and more importantly, it increases our infrastructure, which will help us with all of the seasonal flooding problems that we've been having. We're a technological backwater because we didn't have enough science funding. Now that we do, it's going to take a long time, but eventually that'll go away on its own. I think the workers' strike is already over, and our economy is uncompetitive because we don't have enough productivity, because we're paying mothers to stay home when they have babies, and we have relatively poor healthcare and very poor education. We want to pay people to go to college, because if you don't pay people to go to college, then you won't be very productive as a nation. We only have 2 more political capital, so let's see if set up an agro-dealer network to improve information dissemination, supply chains, and produce distribution in farming communities. Agro-dealers offer permanent premises where farmers can attend training in order to, so basically, make farmers happy. I think farmers should be happy. We have a lot of them, which is weird. We used to be one giant sugar plantation, so we still have a lot of leftover farmers. All right. Should we allow people to collect the money that they're owed, or should we not? I think we should let them collect the money that they're owed, because they're owed that money and they should collect it. Security briefing. The Rural Alliance is still mad at us. Our ministers aren't very good at their jobs, but they're very loyal. And we have a $21 billion deficit, which is more than the entire income of our country, I think, still. Oh, the entire income of our government, not of our country. Okay. Skills shortage caused by lack of education, caused because our funding for state schools isn't awesome enough, so let's make that more awesome. Good, we got 8 more. We can increase maternity leave, and now we're out of political capital. We got 1 left. See if there's anything you can do for 1. Nope. And see if our ministers are still reasonable. They're still 25. That's good enough. I usually switch ministers when I get down to 20. Airplane crashes upsetting foreigners as well as everyone and state employees. New situation has developed in which our oil wealth has gone up because we started digging for oil. This increases the oil supply. It's bad for the environment, makes environmentalists a tiny bit angry, makes rural people a tiny bit angry. Shifts us slightly towards having a less service-oriented technology group. Shifts us towards agriculture and technology, economy type. Raw materials, manufacturing, or services. So we're shifting towards raw materials. Huh, interesting. Global economy is in recession. People don't like us. Cabinet is fine. Rural Alliance is still our biggest threat. Credit rating was downgraded because we haven't balanced the budget in a long time. I'm not worried about that. Alright. Now, we still have a skills shortage, although we're fighting it in 2 ways. Let's fight it through immigration as well. Border controls. Let's let people come into our country whenever they want. Good idea. Because if you don't have enough skilled workers, one solution is to get them from other places. Especially India, man. If we're close to India, they have lots of skilled workers they could send us in the mail. Mailbox full of skilled workers. Anything else affecting immigration? Border controls were the biggest detriment, but also unemployment makes people not want to come here. Human development, meaning our combination of wages, health, and education, is also impacting how many people want to come here. Civil service wages is something we'd like to change in the future, but can't yet because we have only 12 political capital left. Well, we only have 12 political capital, which isn't enough to do anything big, so let's look at some little things we can do. So, welfare fraud department is going to make conservatives happy, which is good because we like to piss off conservatives. Almost everything we do pisses off conservatives. Makes poor people sad, but we don't care because I don't know why we don't care. We just don't. For some reason. I forget why. Because we do so many other things to make poor people happy. Like if you give them food stamps and then you also make sure that the correct people get the food stamps, they forgive one because the other, you know? Alright. Rent controls. Basically, this is the super cheap version of state housing. And it's very upsetting to capitalists that you would do it, but it's a good way to get poor people into houses for cheap. Alright, we're out of political capital. Our ministers are still reasonable. We're getting 24 per turn. Good. Who wants to kill us today? We no longer have a homelessness situation because we've been so nice to homeless people, giving them unemployment benefits and giving them state housing. There's no longer a general strike, which is going to be great for our GDP, which will go up pretty soon. Budget is still negative 24 billion. Economic forecast is that the recession is having a negative effect on our GDP. Actually lots of people like us now, 41%. It's doing good. Cabinet reports. Deficit spending is always very popular. People will love you as you go bankrupt. Cabinet's still passable. Security briefing says power to all, which may become a serious threat. Okay, so let's find out what power to all is. What are you, power to all? It's the 4th one up. Quality now. So membership is going down, but their radicalism is going up. Why do people feel like we're not equal? Probably click on everyone and then go to equality. No. Ethnic minorities inequality? Racial tension inequality? Come on, equality's got to be in here somewhere. Anyway. Capitalists are mad and trade unionists are mad. It's good to piss off both of those groups because you mix them together and you get everyone. Which is why everyone's so mad. Whoops. So, women. Gender inequality. Our abortion laws. We don't have enough political capital to change them, but as you can see, abortion laws, on one extreme make liberals very mad, on the other extreme make religious people very mad, and in the middle, nobody really cares. So you can basically, on this end, you get less money and slightly happier religious people, but not very much. On this end, you get more money and slightly less happy religious people, but slightly happier liberal people. So I think this is a better place for it to sit, but it costs 26 political capital to move it, so we can't do that yet. Road building is something that we're starting to work very heavily on. Buses in general, bus usage is going up, but not very much. Because the more money poor people have, the more your buses will get utilized, I guess. We should subsidize some transport options, such as bus subsidies. We'll make some more buses. And then maybe trains, free bus passes for everyone, telecommuting. I love telecommuting because that's how I make my money. And I think that especially people who live on an island, it makes sense to allow them to work for more than just the businesses on the island, right? Telecommuting on islands is perfect. Biofuels, dumb, fuel efficiency. It's good for the environment, but it costs a lot of money. No, actually, it costs almost no money, and it's good for the environment, and everybody wants it, so there's no reason not to do it. What else do we have in the transportation? We got law, race discrimination, gender discrimination. I'm not too worried about race discrimination. I'm not sure how polyglot our... Yeah, we don't have any ethnic minorities. Everyone is the same race on our island. The people who aren't are very mad about racial tension, but there aren't any of them. There's only 4% of our population. So not worried about that. Urban versus rural. The rural people are slightly happier now because we gave them agro-dealer networks. They're still a little bit angry that we're not letting their babies go to work, but I'm okay with that. Urban people, they like the bus subsidies. They like the telecommuting initiative. They love that we have been fighting traffic congestion by building new roads. Urban people are pretty happy with us. Youth are pretty happy because we allow them to go to school instead of getting jobs. Liberals are pretty happy because we've just been generally very liberal in all of our policies. Socialists as well. We like to not make very much money and then spend it all on our population, which is what makes socialists happy. Capitalists are very mad because we keep using our money to benefit our people, which is bad. Don't do that. Like, they don't like us to have state health care. They don't want us to have a sales tax that's so low. I guess they want our sales tax to be higher. No, they want it to be lower. Fuel efficiency standards, stock exchanges, rent controls, state pensions, unemployment. But so anything good upsets capitalists because it's hard to have a profitable business if you get taxed. And those taxes go to help the people that work there. It's not cool. So we're still getting 23 minister capital per turn, which is high enough. So we'll skip to the next turn. Now we have to factory farming law. Do a campaign for the tightening of animal welfare standards on farms is gaining momentum. Do we want animals to be happy or people? I'm going to go with people since we are the leader of the people, not the leader of the animals. All right. Crime is going down. Health is going up. Poverty is going down. Education is going up. Unemployment staying roughly the same and pretty high and very sad. GDP hasn't gone up yet. I expected it to go up right away. Our credit rating was downgraded again, probably second or third time in a row that's happened. Security says Human Rights Society has been criticizing the government for their policy. But we have no terrorists, which is great. Awesome. We don't need to torture people to prevent them from assassinating us because we haven't upset anyone enough that they felt like they needed to be tortured. You need to upset people more before you need to torture them. Alright, I need to get some money coming in, but I want my GDP to get up first. I want to leave things the way they are until my GDP is gone. Like this high or so. So why is my GDP still not awesome? Skills shortage, uncompetitive economy, gender inequality, informal sector. We got a black market, power blackouts. We got a lot of problems that are all going to get solved as our skilled workers come in. So is there an immigration contribution to skilled workers? Productivity, maternity leave, health, state health. Yeah, let's give people some health. That should get our productivity up, which should get us out of this crisis. And this one, infrastructure, it's on the way down because we're making roads. We're also telecommuting and increasing our technology in general, doing lots of things to make this one go away. So it should be fine. Power blackouts, they should actually stop next month, so it's fine. Any policies we can get away with for $2? We got a clean energy subsidy, a health food subsidy, paying people to eat right. It's really cheap because not a lot of people have the willpower to fill out the forms. So let's do it. All right, we won the Nobel Peace Prize because we're Nobel-ish and peaceful and we have prizes. Our power blackouts are gone like we expected. Human Rights Society is criticizing our policy. Sure. Our credit rating is pretty low. Our ministers are passable. I think everything's going well. Got a 1.7 and a 1.2. Down to 20. Let's fire these guys. Alright. So, we need a foreign policy guy. You seem reasonable. You like women and liberals, and women and liberals both hate us. You're not going to like us for very long. But, you just like us for a while and it'll be good. So, our welfare... We've got this guy who likes youths and capitalists. Capitalists hate us, youths hate us, so this guy's not going to like us for very long, but whatever. Economy. Where's somebody who likes economy? 4.3, he likes economy. Doesn't have much experience, but he has lots of loyalty. Environmentalists and the poor are on his side, and we love the poor, so he's going to stick with us through thick and thin, I would expect. Next, we need a guy who likes taxes. She likes taxes, and she's good. Oh, I'm going to piss off the religious. I'd like to avoid her if I can. Yeah! Why do you keep yelling my name? Ooh, back. Okay, so we're getting a tax person who's not indebted to the religious socialists. I don't know, socialists love us, so even if we piss her off for religious reasons, she'll probably still like us, right? I think we'll stick with her. Alright, next we need public service. This guy's 3.3, this guy's 4.4. 4.4 patriots and capitalists. He's not going to stick with us very long, but again, I don't know how much that matters. Law and order. Excuse me. We got a 4.5 guy who's not really interested in law and order. That's the best we're going to do, I guess. And transport secretary. 3.0, he likes transport. 3.3, he likes transport. 2.6 likes transport. 4.1 does not. 4.4, who doesn't. Let's get that guy. I wonder how effective he is if he doesn't like transport. Our maximum minister capital is only 40. Our current capital is 10, and we're gaining 30 next turn for a total of 40. So we could just end the turn. But let's look for any cheapo policies we can enact. Human rights, not sure what benefit this has. Establish human rights oversight agency protecting the fundamental rights which your citizens are entitled to by... So I would guess that liberals, who basically want to make sure the government is not up in their business, would be very happy to know that we don't plan to kidnap them or torture them. That's what that probably is for. Women are probably very happy about this one. It makes women and liberals happy, which is good because we like to piss off women and liberals. So anything we can do for free to make them happy is good. Work safety laws. Who wouldn't want work safety laws? That's fine. And next. We are no longer making a huge amount of money because we allowed drilling. Very sad. But we also no longer have a skills shortage, so our GDP is on the rise. Woohoo! Credit rating has been downgraded again because we haven't managed to balance our budget. Everything is happy. There's no security threats whatsoever, so nobody's trying to kill us. And almost nobody is even joining normal groups that don't want to kill us. Nobody's joining anything. We got the happiest population in the whole world. So, GDP. We got 31 points. We want our GDP to go up even more, so let's see what else can make our GDP go up. Crime is not a problem. Productivity is at 6%, but if we could get it to go higher, that would be great. Health, unemployment, alcohol, and asthma are the big problems for productivity. Education, technology, and wages makes our productivity higher. So immigration causes our wages to go down. Why? The more people come here willing to work for less, the less you have to pay people, so the lower wages get, I guess. It also... decreases the ethnic minority membership? Wouldn't you think it'd increase the ethnic minority membership? It decreases GDP. I don't know, I feel like our immigration should increase GDP. It gives us more skilled workers. Stability, which comes from poverty and the environment and health and crime and violent crime. We have very little violent crime, which is doing a number on our stability, making us very stable and happy. Infrastructure, economy type. So the more manufacturing and services the more services we do, the better for infrastructure. How do we make more service jobs? I bet we have to use policies to encourage people to take service jobs. Public services, free eye tests. Let's do that. It's fun. More people see. I like it when people can see. School meals, probably very popular with the poor. It reduces poverty and increases health. Remember, the biggest problem we're having with productivity is that our health is kind of low, so giving people free school lunches should be fine. Libraries will make people smart as a whip. Everyone likes being smart as a whip. So you can see that our deficit has grown from 20 to 30 billion, but our income over time oops, we never raised income tax. Our relative GDP went up for the first time. Our income has not yet gone up at all. So as our GDP goes up, our income will go up. But we hopefully need to get it there before our debt reaches a level that's too crazy. So we're still deficit spending like mad to try to transform our government. And this is the trap that you can fall into that will, end an entire nation. Residential credit facilities. A new situation has developed. Citizens are able to consume with the use of credit cards. A stable and lawful lending environment has led to banks freely offering microloans. The blanket issuance of residential credit will drive spending and the economy. However, some citizens will find their debt becoming unmanageable and driving them into poverty. So it makes the poor people a little bit sad. It has no effect on poverty or GDP, but it makes the capitalists a little bit happy. Increases no, it doesn't do anything good for us or anything bad. It's just fine. It's like no effect. Which is weird because it's in the real world, credit cards were a huge boon to the economy, allowing everybody to... Okay, the money that you get is money that your employer spent, right? And then you spend the money you get to employ someone else or to buy something else from someone else, right? So the money kind of goes around in a circle. It keeps getting used and used by more and more people. So if you create pretend money out of credit, then it really like raises the amount of taxes that your government gets. So it should affect GDP quite significantly, but it doesn't. Oh well, I'm okay with it. Torture, deportation. Should we deport people or keep him here? It's clear that this man is hardly a model citizen, but no confidence trickster deserves to be tortured. Don't send him back to his country if they're gonna torture him. Sure, we'll keep him. Why not? Don't let people get tortured. I'm okay with it. Let's see. Oh no, when you alt-tab and alt-tab back in, this is all crazy. Normally I'd just skip to the next turn, but I'm pretty sure I can't because... Shoot. Well, I'll just enact an expensive policy or something. Let's do capital gains tax. Nothing wrong with capital gains tax. Those are fun. Plastic bag tax, mortgage relief, game hunting, recreational drug taxes, enterprising investment scheme. Let's look for potential incomes that are very high. Million. We're looking for $1 billion here. Make something that makes me $1 billion. Luxury goods could make me up to $1 billion. Internet tax could make me up to $1 billion. Capital gains could make me up to $3 billion. Graduated tax, airline tax, organ donation. Technology colleges are very unpopular. Interesting. Open plan government offices. Remodel government offices to be open plan. This is a physical measure to try to eliminate corruption in the workplace. Without the privacy of enclosed room, it is more difficult to arrange illicit deals. People have cell phones. That's not going to work. Government code of conduct. Pen a code of conduct. This probably costs nothing, right? This has got to be basically free. No, it costs 5 political capital. Basically, I write on a piece of paper, be a good guy. I don't see the downside. State employees are mad that I wrote down on a piece of paper that they shouldn't be bad. They wouldn't be mad about that. They'd be like, whatever, you're stupid. And they'd just be good guys. So silly. This technological backwater should be going away soon, right? Technology is going up, science funding is going up. Everything's going up in that regard. Oh, here we go. We need to do this. That costs 30. We can't afford it. But we'll have to remember to do that in the future. Which is to stop teaching creationism in schools. I don't understand. I don't feel like that's a real thing. Do you think that creationism is taught in schools in an island on the Indian Ocean? Like, I don't know. I guess I have no exposure to what they might be teaching in schools. Uncompetitive economy, productivity problems because of work safety laws and health. And most importantly, unemployment. Unemployment is caused by state health services not being funded to the maximum. I don't know. How do I get back to unemployment? Productivity, unemployment. All right, so unemployment has been going down steadily. We're doing a great job of fighting unemployment. State schools fight unemployment. State health services fight unemployment. Science funding fights unemployment. Road building. Our police force has the opportunity to fight unemployment if we hire more cops. Yeah, why not? Let's hire more cops. Fight some unemployment. And, as a side benefit, it also fights crime. Ta-da! Where's state employees? Yeah, there we go. So, state employees, science funding, no, state employees. We're going to try to hire people to do stuff to fight unemployment. I feel like that's a terrible way to fight unemployment in the real world. But in this game, it seems to be a great way to fight unemployment. It's just to take money from everyone and give it to some people in order to make those people work. I don't know, man. That doesn't seem... I don't know. It's the what's it called? The New Deal, when you hire a bunch of people to build roads and bridges and stuff. But if you're using tax dollars to pay wages to somebody who then pays taxes on it, it's like the money is slowly going away. Anyway, government code of conduct, university grants, state schools, science funding. Did we already do university grants? We did. Let's look at the cost history. Ooh, it doubled in cost since we took office. So we're currently tobacco taxing, buying lots of food stamps. We have rent controls, welfare fraud department. Human development is on the rise. Yay. Alcohol consumption is going down. Yay. Our law having to do with alcohol is that you have to be 18. So it's interesting. This is saying that as you lower the drinking age, you get more people who drink alcohol. You make people who don't like the government stepping into their daily lives happier, of course. You get slightly more violent crime, and you make youth unhappy. No, you make youth slightly happier. But most importantly, more alcohol consumption makes your whole country make less money, because alcohol consumption in this game reduces productivity. So if we strongly restrict alcohol, we will be a much more productive country, but everyone will be a little bit mad. Which, I don't know. I feel like I've read reports that say countries that restrict alcohol consumption have more alcohol consumption than countries that don't restrict alcohol consumption. You know, like I don't know about this, but whatever. According to the game, low strength B. I wish I could read what that says. The low strength B? Strong restrictions. Low strength B. 21, 18, 16. I don't really have an opinion on this. I don't know how much alcohol is actually affecting our economy. Buses, though, I know that I want more people to ride buses. Big fan of public transportation on tiny islands, because I feel like some of the challenges to public transportation are ruralism in the normal world. But if you're on a little island, it's a set cost. You pay this much one time, and your whole island has buses on it. Done. You know, like I feel like same with railroads. You know, it's probably going to cost like $8 to run a rail line across the whole country, and then we're done. We never have to think about it again. Okay, let's try to get up to 30. Yay, national team wins the cup. Woohoo! Credit rating upgraded. Woohoo! Our GDP is staying steady. I wish that it was rising, and it's not for some reason. We need our GDP to go up, but we have more than 30 political capital, which means we can raise taxes. Yay for raising taxes. Alright, this should upset everyone, which will make our long-standing history of not having any terrorists suddenly change. Right, next month we should get terrorists again. Come on, security report. Nope, no terrorists. Rail strike, a new situation has developed. The railroad, which didn't exist a second ago and now does exist, is on strike because they're angry about... They're not angry about anything. This is weird. I guess there was no such thing as a railroad a second ago, and now that there is, it's just at the default value, and the default value is above the threshold. I'm going to ignore this for a couple turns and see what happens, because I think that will just go away. Global economy is doing okay. Everybody likes you because you're awesome. Look how popular I am. Yay, country! So last month I raised taxes, and we're still running a pretty hefty deficit. We need our GDP to keep going up. So we can lower some corporate taxes. Residential credit facilities. I don't even... Oh, this is just because people have credit cards. That's not going to be a big deal. Immigration is impacting our GDP negatively. Petrol tax has almost zero effect. Corporation tax has almost zero effect. Oil oil price, global economy, traffic congestion, tourism, foreign investment. I think we can impact foreign investment quite a bit. Gender inequality. The Gender Discrimination Act has helped. Oh, the Jesus fish. That's what we're going to do. We're going to Jesus fish. There we go. You just know that the creators of this game were big fans of the Jesus fish. So it's a significant policy. It upsets religious people a lot, but it's worth it. It makes you have fewer religious people by 29%. Which is crazy because honestly, if I stop teaching religious-y things in school, not only will that have almost no effect on people's religion because people get their religion from their parents, not from their school, but even if it did theoretically have a big effect, that effect wouldn't happen until the person who's, started in 6th grade ends up graduating college. So it shouldn't have any effect until after I haven't been president for 10 years or something. So it should have no effect. This should be just a 100% bad decision and only see benefits after I've stopped being in charge, right? There should never be a reason to click this button, but in this game, it's awesome. You should always do it. So the game makes, I think, a big mistake as far as the Jesus fish. So we went over the pollution threshold and now we're killing our health and environment because we have lots of car usage. Our GDP has gone up too much. And we don't have enough agricultural efficiency. We need more foreign aid. Oh, we wanted to make this go up, but we don't have the political capital for it. All right, how are our ministers doing? 28, they're still amazingly good. Good job, ministers. You're happy with what I'm doing, and I'm happy with what you're doing, and it's like mutual. It's perfect. We have ratified a border alteration with a neighboring country, resulting in a small gain in territory. With this land has come its people, who are now within our sovereignty. Do we want to... Are we not all citizens of the world? The territory is not just the sum of its natural resources, but its human resources as well. It may cause friction initially, but we will benefit from integrating our new residents in the long run. Or should we just kick them out and be like, this land is ours and you should go? I think we should kick them out. But I know that the people who designed the game thought we should let them in, so I will do what I think they want me to do. But in reality, if your only focus is to have a strong country for the 5 years you're in charge, and you don't care if the country burns to the ground on year 6, then I would make a totally different choice, Okay. Next. Credit rating downgraded because our budget was no longer balanced. People love me. Cabinet is trustworthy but disappointing. People love me. It's a bad sign that we haven't been able to balance the budget even though we raised our taxes. The global economy is doing well and having a positive effect on us, and we still have no terrorists. We don't even understand the concept of terrorism. It's foreign to us. Alright, so uncompetitive economy is not going to go away anytime soon. Technological backwater hopefully will be gone soon because of this. Pollution, we're not even really trying to fight yet. Should be a button for pollution somewhere. I'm just looking for a picture of like oil or dead trees. This looks pollution-y, right? The environment. Good. Alright. It doesn't really... There's no, like... I guess we just have to enact new policies that say don't blow up the world or something. Alright. So, we want a capital gains tax. And we want it to be at the point where it doesn't affect GDP at all, right? So, even at the lowest point, it has some effect on GDP. And at its highest point, it has only a 2.66% effect on GDP. So I'm not really worried about how much it affects GDP. It does upset capitalists, and it reduces the earnings of rich people. It makes fewer people be self-employed, and it upsets those who are self-employed. It reduces the income of self-employed people. It makes people more socialist, or it makes socialists happier, and it reduces the opinion of the wealthy. So rich people don't like it. Basically, it's bad for all of the important rich people and good for everyone else. I'm going to go with the everyone else in this regard. High tax on investing, which, in the long run will be bad because you have a great idea and it would totally be a winner, and you have rich people that believe in you, and it makes more financial sense for them to steal your idea than to invest in you because I put a huge tax on investing in people. So it's kind of a bad choice in the long run, but I need to balance this budget and it's getting crazy. I thought it'd be balanced by now, man. Yo, GDP, go up faster. Okay, so let's look for some policies that will increase our GDP or our income. I don't want a luxury goods tax. Hunting animals for sport is a contentious pursuit, especially if their numbers in the wild are dwindling. However, wild animals can be considered to be part of the country's natural resources, able to be exploited to create valuable hunting industry. Regulating game hunting is a way of managing animal populations, protecting those species that cannot be sustained. Of course, nature may be best reserved with an outright ban. So, we can either continue to have an unregulated animal hunting thing in which it costs nothing to me, but they kill all the animals if they feel like it. I would think that this would make me money. It just said that by regulating it, we get money. But then it didn't give us any money. Maybe we get money indirectly somehow. It decreases tourism, makes rural people angry because they were eating those animals, makes the poor people happy because they were eating those animals, makes environmentalists happy, and it improves our environment. See, I don't buy that. In this game, environment is a word that means thing that causes less pollution, right? If you have a good environment, you have better asthma rates and better pollution rates and better stability and better tourism, and you make environmentalists happy, right? So telling me not to shoot endangered species is not going to give less pollution. It's just, I don't buy that. Too simplified. But let's do it. Okay. So I'm a big fan of ringed fences. Done. I actually, by clicking on environment, it locked in where I happen to have the slider. So good thing I had it in a reasonable place, or else that could have been bad. All right, any cheapo policies? Let's get clean energy. Why not? Who doesn't like clean energy? I like clean energy. Our island has been invaded. You may have forgotten that technically we have sovereignty of a tiny overseas island. Well, the good news is that we still technically do, but the bad news is that as of 9 a.m. this morning, we no longer have effective control of the island. Separatist rebels stormed the governor's building and seized control of the entire island, meeting with the very little opposition. If we had a stronger military, we could have a better garrison on the island, and this will not have happened. There's nothing we can do now, but patriots are outraged that you let it happen in the first place. So more people will become patriots, patriots will be less happy, everyone will be less happy, and I don't know if this is a situation that is now just going to continue until I ask for help from an outside power, or if it's something that happened but now it's over. So the rail strike looks like it's going down over time, so we can just keep ignoring it. Uncompetitive economy is never going to go away. Technological backwater is going away on its own. Pollution is only on the rise, not going down. Asthma is only on the rise, not going down. Foreign policy. This is where I would expect to see the invaded island thing. So I guess what they're saying is that rebels invaded, took over the prime minister's offices or whatever, and then left. And everyone's mad that that happened, but it's over. So I don't think it's actively continuing to go on, which is good, because I wouldn't know what to do if it was. All right, Patriots very mad. Do you think the angered Patriots are going to start terrorizing me or no? It doesn't seem like they are. Good, so let's get some more GDP up in this business. All right, stock exchange, residential, rail strike, technological backwater. Let's see if we can affect the technological backwater more quickly by enacting some Public service announcements. School vouchers, maybe. Open plan government offices. Fighting corruption, basically. Foreign language curriculum. No. Food standards agency. By making sure our food has appropriate standards, people will be less fat, I think. Law and order. I don't think we're having any trouble in law and order. Agricultural land tenure. Establishing a regime of farmers owning the land that they work. This promotes development of the land and investment in farming infrastructure with a view of yielding high. So basically giving state land away to whoever happens to live on it today. This should be bad for money. It should it costs us a tiny bit of money. But it makes rural people happy, obviously. It makes conservatives unhappy. I don't know why. Why would conservatives be unhappy? It reduces the number of people that live in cities. Because if you can get free land by moving out of the city, of course you will. It makes our infrastructure better because the people who now have a vested self-interest in maintaining the land will do a better job of maintaining the land than a faraway city. Agricultural efficiency goes up. Looks good. I like this thing. I'd heard of that happening in the Britishville. That's what Downton Abbey is about. Not directly, but you know. Subsidized school buses. Who wouldn't subsidize their school buses? That's just silly. You must subsidize school buses. Are there even places where people have to pay for their own school bus? It doesn't even make sense. All right. Because then you wouldn't, right? You'd walk to school and then no one would get a bus. That'd be bad. More people would die walking to school. I read a report recently about why there are no seatbelts on school buses, and it turns out that in all of the 300 million American people, only 4 kids die per year on school buses, and way more kids die per year walking to school or riding their bikes to school, even though it's much more common to ride the school bus. So generally, anyone you kick off of a school bus has a much higher percentage chance to die on their way to school. In a car crash, in a biking accident, getting lost, whatever. Not that either of those chances are very high, but the point is, like, putting seatbelts probably wouldn't save the 4 lives anyway, and it would create more problems for the people who are now walking to school. Credit downgraded again because we are really, really untrustworthy. We have never paid our budget deficit thing ever. Our expenses go up every single month. And our income has been going up faster than our expenses, but not quite fast enough. And our GDP is now going back down. Interest rate went pretty low for a while, but now it's going up. Debt is continuing to rise. Global economy is doing really well. So in the future, we're going to do even more poorly than we are now. So we need to focus on pulling in more money without upsetting too many people. It looks like we are starting to get a teeny tiny bit more angry people. So can we enact any policies that are either revenue neutral or give us money? Enterprise investment scheme. Enterprise investment scheme is a system which gives tax breaks to the wealthy individuals who invest their money in small startup companies. I really like this. This is a Shark Tank thing. All right. Foreign aid petitioning. Sure. Let's ask for money. Why wouldn't you ask for money? It's a good way to get money, I would think. Plastic bag tax? No, I like plastic bags. International election observers, making sure that we're more democratic. Open plan government offices, fighting corruption, basically freedom of information, race discrimination. I think freedom of information is my favorite of all these things. Done. Okay. Oil price spike. There's an urgent policy question requiring a sharp increase in the global demand for oil has caused its price to spike. The pump prices of fuel have skyrocketed, resulting in a backlash from car owners and businesses alike. The cost of fuel subsidy to alleviate the situation would be $600 million. Should we subsidize fuel? Yeah, why not? I don't see why not. We have lots of money and we're throwing it in the trash anyway. We might as well throw it in that trash bin instead of the other trash bin. GDP is still on the rise. I saw a little green arrow next to GDP, and that was great. I'm surprised the technological backwater isn't gone yet, but it looks like 1 or 2 more months. Pollution problems are starting to get curbed by our new policies. Uncompetitive economy is on the way down. Asthma's on the way down. rail strike is on the way down. We don't have any disasters that require our attention, so we're still in that like little limbo of not really needing to do anything. State housing, disability benefit, childcare provisions. Childcare provisions, paying people to go to work and leave their kids at home, is good for productivity of our nation because then more people go to work and leave their kids at home. Pollution controls are good because they reduce pollution, and I suspect that the fines would give me money over time. I have eradicated poverty. Nobody cheers as loud for you as those people that you have raised out of poverty. In your triumphant mission to rid the curse of poverty from our country, well done. Our GDP went down for the first time in a long time. Market meltdown. We may not have done anything wrong, but a crisis of confidence in the overseas mortgage market has led to the global meltdown of the stock market. Awesome. This is going to be bad because we never actually balanced our budget, and now we're going to make even less money. So global economy went bloop. Our relative GDP went bloop with it. And our expenses are continuing to slowly climb, and our income is not climbing quite as fast. I'm a little bit worried. I think we should have balanced the budget by now. Capitalists agree. They're like, oh, I'm so cynical. Rent controls are stupid, and everything you do is dumb. Market meltdown really upset the capitalists. Our rent controls... No matter what we do in terms of rent controls, it's going to upset the capitalists. But right now, we're 26% upsetting the capitalists in order to house almost no one. We're increasing poor earnings by 6%. We're reducing capitalist income because they can no longer be landlords because their landlordship is no longer as effective because we're telling them not to charge too much in rent. I feel like this whole policy should probably be canceled. But maybe not. I'm not going to do it yet. All right. Transportation. Public services, technology, youth. Definitely youth clubs. Why not pay people to go to Boy Scouts? It seems reasonable. Adult education so that they can get a cool job. Like, what if you were married for 23 years and your wife was making tons of money so you never bothered to get a career, and then she dies and now you got to get a cool career, but there's no way to get adult education because somebody forgot to click on that slider. International election observers. Don't see how it could hurt, and it doesn't cost much, so let's do it. We'll just let people who don't even live here come and whine about how good or bad we're doing at stuff. Awesome. Foreign drug smuggler. We caught somebody smuggling, and we want to try him domestically because we're afraid he'll be tortured if we send him home. We finally have some real terrorists up in this business. Protectors of the free market, the capitalist terrorists, because of the economic downturn, are really angry, and they're not going to take it anymore. The wealthy people are also very angry. It looks like we're upsetting a lot of people. I think we're going to have to repeal... We've got a $23 billion budget deficit. Oh my gosh. Our income is falling rapidly. Our expenses are staying the same. We're not going to make it. Not going to make it. We need to pull in more money without upsetting capitalists too much. Let's look for big expenditures that upset capitalists. State schools, state health services, state pensions. This is one. Capitalists don't like state pensions. Private pensions. See, if we get rid of state pensions, we'll have private pensions instead. The United States did that recently. And it will save us billions of dollars. And it will make the capitalists a tiny, tiny bit. This is not going to do a good enough job of making the capitalists happy. So even if we move the slider all the way down, we're still paying $2 billion in state pensions. We'd have to outright cancel the policy in order not to pay anything. Which I don't think we could. I don't even think it's possible to cancel the policy because we need more political capital than we can even save up. And we can go up to 52. This guy. Why don't you like us, bro? Because he's a capitalist, and capitalists are mad. What about this guy? He's a capitalist. So if we could make capitalists happy, our ministers would get us more political capital. What's making you so unhappy, my friends? Income tax, I'm not going to change. Rent controls, I could abolish. And market meltdown. I think if we abolished rent controls... We're going to abolish all rent controls, make the capitalists a tiny bit happier. I don't like rent controls anyway. I was just using them to make the poor people happier because we had a big poor person problem. But hey, you saw that pop-up. It said we conquered poverty. There's no such thing as poverty anymore, so we don't need rent controls. Good. Patriots are mad that we don't spend any money on our military. They're mad that we let our island be invaded. I'm honestly kind of mad about that myself. We only have a ceremonial military. A well-trained military would cost $4 billion at a time when we're worried that we're going to go bankrupt from not getting enough money. I don't think we can afford to spend any money on anything. Let's just keep raising taxes. Raise taxes, raise taxes, raise taxes. Invent new taxes, invent new taxes. Negative tax. This one has a potential income of up to $42 million. It's nothing. This one's got no potential for income. Man, we need money. This one's almost revenue neutral, and it fights corruption, and less corruption probably gives us more money, right? So let's click this. The less corruption we have, the more our GDP. So, I don't know. My guess is that having high corruption is bad for your money, because that's how corruption works in every other game I've ever played. All right. We are no longer a technological backwater. Our GDP is on the rise again. There's a question of whether we should ban landmines. Our security report is non-existent because people are no longer trying to kill us because we stopped giving them cheap rent on their apartments. Would we like to ban landmines or no? Of course we'll ban landmines. We're an island. You put landmines somewhere and eventually someone's going to want to use that space. We don't have lots of vast wilderness that we can just write off as unnecessary. Alright, pollution is going down, but I don't think we're going to get rid of it. Uncompetitive economy going down, but I don't think we're going to get rid of that either. Productivity is on the rise in general, mostly because childcare and adult education. Unemployment is a problem. We have very low unemployment, and that low unemployment is causing productivity issues? I don't get it. So if we had higher unemployment, would we have higher productivity? I mean, that's not how it works, but whatever. And productivity is an input, too. We could raise military spending to fight unemployment, but that's silly. We're still $18 billion deficit. We need to cut some of these expenses. State schools, state health, state pensions. I thought we were cutting state pensions. Road building, rail subsidies. Are the rail subsidies really paying for themselves? I feel like they just immediately went on strike. The heck, guy. I built a railroad, and all you're doing is upsetting people. Why are you on strike? Okay, this is going to go up over time. Yeah, okay. So it'll go away. It's just going to take a long time. We've got an election coming up, but everybody loves us. Just loves us, loves us, loves us. There's no terrorism. Everyone's a big fan. Capitalists are getting happier. Patriots are getting happier. We just really need money. Devolution. What's a devolution? Set the level of devolution in your country's political system. Powers can be granted from the central government to govern at a regional level. Devolved territories have the power to make legislation. So make states, basically. Right now, we're mostly regionally controlled. We could be central government or we could be a local governance. This is more democratic. This is less democratic. This is less racial tension, more racial tension. So better, worse, better, worse, worse, better. So this is the best. The only thing that it does badly is patriots, but other than that, there's just no downside to having local government. Other than military spending, yeah, basically other than military spending, everything should be locally run, I think. I'm pretty sure. Is that what's going on here? Okay, so need more money still. Corporate taxes are bad for the economy, but they make money and we need some of that stuff. So we need $18 billion. How is this going over time? Our GDP is still going up. Our income is going to go up, but our expenses are staying basically steady. Can we outpace our expenses just by leaving things alone, or will our interest payments get so high that we're doomed? Need to bring in money without crippling the economy. Where's our biggest source of money? Income tax, government borrowing, sales tax, corporate tax, petrol tax, capital gains tax. Can I raise the income tax even higher? I don't think so. Can I cut expenses? Do students really need laptops? This is $10 billion we're talking about. But I'm $18 billion over. So there's no one expense that I could cut that would make a big enough difference. So it's probably not worth cutting anything. All right. Let's just invent new taxes. So the negative 5% GDP. If we do this, it makes environmentalists happy, generates us $37 million a month, and makes nobody sad. So, past that, we make people a tiny bit sad. And generate up to $2.27 billion. And we're an island. I think air travel is pretty important. And gaining money is reasonably important. I think that's good. We'll have really low airplane taxes, but some airplane taxes. How's our ministry? The capitalists that were mad at us are still mad at us. Very mad. His loyalty is very low. His effectiveness is pretty low. Patriots and capitalists, the two most angry groups. Huh, what can you do? A one-party state. Congratulations. You have all but banished the thought of any other political parties from the minds of the electorate, reducing other politicians to mere has-beens. I am very popular. Legal scandal. Liberals are mad. Corruption is rampant. I've been fighting corruption this whole time, though, so I'm not worried about it. Message from your minister. Your minister says, hey, if you don't make capitalists happy, I'm going to quit. And I say, okay, quit. See what I care. How to grow GDP. Pollution controls, productivity, global economy. This is the big problem. 8% here would bring it down to like there. So we definitely going to have to up productivity if we want to get rid of this. Maternity leave is a reasonable problem. Unemployment is the biggest piece, though, and I don't get it because I already eliminated unemployment. There's like no unemployment. I think we have like 100% unemployment, and we still are not productive. I must be reading it wrong, but there's an election coming up, and I'm going to win it, and our deficit is going down by $2 billion every month because our economy is growing, even though the global economy is shrinking. So I'm okay with it. I'm just going to keep passing random tiny laws that don't do anything useful. Let's have an import tariff. I'm against import tariffs in the real world, but we need money. Oh, they generate almost no money. They make capitalists happy as long as they're low. They reduce unemployment more the higher you put them. They make patriots happy. Foreign relations decrease. International trade decreases. They make the black market bigger the bigger you make them, obviously, because people are going to try to avoid any tax you impose. And they make your economy more competitive. So good. It's good to have tariffs as long as they're not too high. Because they make your economy more competitive. I don't want to grow the black market too big. Let's have low tariffs, but at least enough to make our economy competitive. Let's just leave it in the middle and we'll lower it later. So import tariffs make this go down by 22%. That should be enough to get us out of the uncompetitive economy. Ha! Who would have thought import tariffs were the answer? Alright, import tariffs. See, now it costs money to move the bar because I wanted to look at something. Like, never look at things, that's bad. Okay, good. We import tariffed our way out of that problem. Foreign aid. We will give money to other countries. Not very much, but some. And this will improve foreign relations. And that's it. Is it worth spending money to improve foreign relations? Sure, why not? See, you can't change your mind. Once you've clicked it, it's clicked. So, whatever. Let's see what benefits foreign relations have for us. They increase tourism, which increases GDP, so that's good. Foreign drug smuggle? Okay, whatever. Alright. So that's good enough. How are our ministers doing? Is he still threatening to quit? He's down to 1. I gotta fire those 2, but everyone else is so good. If I fire them, then these other guys will be mad at me. Well, whatever. We'll let them quit. People get mad when someone quits, but we need a new UN ambassador. Do we want someone who's popular or someone who's good? Reputation for solving difficult problems, and he's popular with the liberals and the socialists in our society as well as with foreign leaders. This guy, he's a patriot, and he's going to piss everyone off, and he's only popular with patriots. Well, obviously not him. Alright, everything's looking good. Our deficit is at 17 billion. Come on, deficit, seriously. Our debt has steadily climbed since I took office. Our income has climbed as well, but not as quickly. Come on, income. You can do it, bro. You can do it. You can only grow GDP so much. I think we might need to cut essential services eventually. Come on, rail strike. You should be going away. The pollution problem is almost completely gone. Uncompetitive economy should be going away with the tariffs. Unemployment is gone, but somehow still contributing to productivity problems. Right. Pollution problems could go away with this. Capitalists angry. Environmentalists and rural people and the environment all happy. This is only 9%. It's silly that you can't see what effects it has until you've already paid for it. But that's okay. I mean, you can get a general idea. Rent controls, disability benefits, technology grants. Why not? Technology grants seem awesome. Let's grant people some technology. Woohoo! Healthy minds and bodies. Everyone's very healthy. Election results 100% turnout for 100% voting for me because everyone likes me because I'm great. Yay! Alright, I'm going to try to balance the budget and then I'm going to play a different nation because I think that this island is the beginner nation for a reason. I think it's the easiest one. Let's launch an inquiry to find out why some celebrity died in prison. Even though it doesn't matter, it'll appease the crowds, and the crowds are what matters. Alright, we got still 2 angry capitalists, and everyone else is doing good. We're making 28 per turn. If we could make those capitalists happy, we would be making more political capital per turn than I've ever made before, and it'll be great. We have very few patriots, but the ones we have are very upset. We have very few rich people, but the ones we have are very upset. They're mad about state health services and free eye tests. They're like, I can afford to pay my own doctors, so why should some of my money be used to pay for your doctors? It's very, I don't know. I don't feel like in the real world that rich people think that way, you know? They're like, I'm so rich that I don't really care if a little tiny bit that I won't even notice of my money goes towards paying for free eye tests. It's one thing to raise capital gains tax. It's another to create a program that gives people free eye tests. All right, productivity. And this is going down. So all of our negative events are about to go away, but our deficit is growing. Our expenses went up a pretty large amount last month, and our income did not go up to match. Let's recycle. It'll be fun. Who doesn't like recycling? We will create tax shelters to encourage wealthy people to live here because they give us lots of money in taxes. It'll upset other countries because we're basically stealing rich people from other countries by giving them a tax break. And we're like, if you're rich, come here. We won't make you pay all of your taxes, but you can still pay some taxes. And we will get that money. It'll be great for you and great for us and great for everyone except for the country that you left because now you don't give them any taxes. Minister scandal. It might not be anything to do with your policies or your personal conduct, but your actions in the scandal are always like me. One of these ministers has been found to these people are mad because you're liberal and you are slightly more corrupt. Pollution is over, cabinet and global forecast, everything's doing well. Awesome. How's the deficit?
Dad, can I go to Pizza Hut?
With Mom? Yes.
No, Mom's not going to go.
Oh, then no.
You to go.
Nope, sorry. Can't do it. I love you too much. Can't take you to Pizza Hut. Okay. What are we doing? I don't know. Not going to Pizza Hut, that's for sure. Got more wealthy people coming in, and more of them are happy. They're sad about corruption, but our corruption is not going to last very long because it's just coming from silly scandals and nothing important. And we've passed several stupid policies to fight corruption just because we have political capital and we didn't want it to go to waste. I'm wondering if it might make sense to just let political capital go to waste. I don't feel like changing things just for the sake of changing things makes a lot of sense. And I want to see how this budget thing plays out because our income keeps going up. And if I could just keep our expenses stationary. Like, when was the last time our expenses were at this level? Actually, they've never been at... So our income is not yet high enough to even pay for the expenses that we had when we first got here. So we're really going to need to boost income a lot or cut expenses a lot in order to balance this budget, as they say. Our debt interest is now the highest part of our budget. So let's cut school to 0. And then we'll cut next month. We'll stop paying our hospitals. Okay. Deficit's still crazy big. Health services. I'm going to cut really low. And we'll go to the next. Let's see. Foreign Liberation Movement. By harboring this revolutionary... Oh, don't let terrorists come here. That's not a good idea. So basically, there's a group that lives in another country that we've been really friendly with for a long time. Ooh. Mass urbanization. Makes rural people sad. Gives us a little bit of poverty. Doesn't have much effect. Basically, it's just letting you know that lots of your farmers are moving to the city. But it's to be expected as we transition to a service economy. An uncompetitive economy is now at an end, finally. Credit is continuing to get downgraded. Technological advantage is giving us additional 13% productivity. That's great. Great, 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 great. Finally, we might make enough money to actually pay off this deficit. So I'm tempted to just skip this turn and see what happens. A regional war. War has broken out in a neighboring country, causing tension along our borders with them. We are seeing an influx of refugees as well as the trade being stemmed. There are also concerns that a conflict in such close proximity will reduce the stability of our own nation. So it didn't. Oh, it did. It reduced stability by 0.15. Public Service Minister resigned. That's fine. He's probably one of the guys that was mad because we pissed off capitalists. But capitalists are happy now. Patriots and youth are still kind of sad. We had a minister in charge of patriots and youth. We've got to get rid of this guy. And then we can hire two new guys. He looks like he would really enjoy working for the welfare department. And then public services. I don't see anyone who'd be good at public services. So we'll just click the guy with the biggest number. He's religious. I don't like religious. He's religious. He's religious. They're all religious. The good guys are all religious. Public services. Public services. This guy is not very good at it, but at least he's friends with parents and trade unionists, and those are our bread and butter. They'll be loyal forever. So we've got a lot of political capital saved up. We even dumped some in the trash because we had so much we didn't even need. And our deficit has shrunk to 15. That's the lowest it's been for quite a while. Our income is on the rise because of our technology stuff. Although our expenses have risen even though we didn't change anything. In fact, I was expecting the expenses to go down, but they've gone up. Our expenses. Because our debt keeps going up. We really need to cut state pensions. I want to cancel them, but I don't have enough political capital, so I'll just cut them as much as I can. And then rail subsidies. Do you think the rail strike is over? Yeah, rail strike's over. People are using railroads, but not very much. It only lowers car usage by 10% and bus usage by 7%, and it increases our oil demand. I don't feel like our rail has been a good value over time. It hasn't increased our GDP or made us better at polluting. It hasn't done anything for us. Let's cancel the rail subsidies. Cancel policy. No subsidies for you. Everything else looks good. Alright, let's see how this goes. Our dudes that we just hired are still happy. Everyone's happy. We're doing good on the minister front. We're minister-tastic. Fracking. Would you like to frack? Of course, everyone likes fracking. Who wouldn't like fracking? GDP is going up even more. Education going up. Funny because I just cut education spending. Unemployment is on the rise. I don't think that's good. Poverty is also on the rise. Also not very good. But we couldn't have 0% unemployment forever. So our deficit is down to 9 billion, but it's still a deficit. Our income is dropping. Our expenses are dropping. See if we can get our expenses to drop faster than our income. All right, debt, state health services, state schools, road building, science funding, child care provisions, state pensions, technology grants, university grants. So we can't really cut expenses any more than we already have. We really want to just, we're down to just pure debt interest. We need to raise our income. How much do we need to raise it by? We need 9 billion in income. We wanted to raise this. Good. Capital gains tax is as high as it'll go. Corporation tax. We'll raise it up here. Because we need the money. We don't really like corporation taxes because they impact GDP directly. And that's bad, but what can you do? Should we eat whale? Yeah, let's eat some whale. I like whales. They're tasty. It says that the whales may be impacting the number of fish, which I think they put the word may in there because they wanted to imply that it was ridiculous. Like, whales don't impact the number of fish. But it also said that whales are tasty. I like eating tasty things. Our deficit's almost gone. Let's raise some gas tax. We can't raise the gas tax. No alcohol tax. Income tax is where I like to get most of my money. Let's raise it to here. Can't raise it. All right, next month. Immigration scandal, credit rating upgraded. Woohoo! Polls report. Okay. So now we can do anything. We got 54 political capital. That's crazy. We've got a budget surplus of $6 billion. Let's raise income taxes. Cool. We're rich. We're raking in the money. Housing expansion. Would we like... there's a shortage of homes in our country, and the government is under pressure to relax the planning laws so that we can put homes in places that used to be reserved for farmers. I think we should put homes everywhere. I think we should just be an island of homes with nothing else. We got a budget surplus of 22 billion. If we just kind of coast here, then I think over time we will become a great nation. Good. So now that we have a little bit of extra money, let's see if there's anything we can do that doesn't cost too much but makes us happier, because I like being happy. CCTV cameras are basically free and they fight crime. Gated communities, gambling, ID cards. ID cards are basically free and they fight crime, but you don't need to fight crime when you don't have any crime. I don't feel like we have any crime. Yeah, public services, faith, school subsidies, organ donation, school prayer, stem cell research. What's stem cell research? Why not? Nobody wants stem cell research. It makes religious people very sad. I like it. Let's do that. Okay. High productivity. Woot! Should we ban animal testing? No, I like animal testing. Global economy is in deep recession, but we don't care because we're making $23 billion a month. We're rich. We're rich. We're rich. We're rich. We're rich. Okay. So I think that might be it for this island. Theoretically, if we just keep hitting end turn, eventually we'd pay off our debt and win. So do we want to call this a win, or do we want to hit end turn a bunch more times? Let's keep it. We'll hit end turn a bunch more times. Darwin's legacy. Yay. Market meltdown. Don't care because my country is doing fine. Look at the surplus. So surplustic. All right. Foreign policy. National service. Maybe people join the military. Overseas investment restriction, foreign investment restriction, power block alignment. We don't need to do any of this stuff. Economy, a day of religious rest, agricultural subsidies. That would shift us away from the type of economy we want into something else. Capital equipment subsidies. I think that sounds really cool. Let's pay people to have capital equipment. And then we'll pay people to have robots. Robots! What up? I love the robots. We'll make organic food and fight obesity with it. And we will make sure that you can't make crappy products and not get punished for it. And then that will be good enough for now. Calls to leave the union. I'll hold a referendum. Budget report, election report, cabinet report. No one's trying to kill us, and we're making lots of money. Although we're making less money now than we were a second ago. Hopefully, let's just coast for a sec and see if that goes down again. Religious symbols in schools. I don't mind if people have religious symbols in schools. It's a human right to be able to associate oneself freely. This policy would cause division and segregation. Yeah, we don't need a ban. I know that in general, video games pretend that technology and religion are opposite ends of something, but that's just stupid. Surplus of 12 billion still. Looking good. Everyone's pretty happy except for middle income people are mad that we taxed them a crazy amount. Our GDP is still on the rise despite our raise in taxes. We got 54 political capital. Could go to outer space. I think tiny islands should always go to outer space. Build a space station, why not? And then give money to small businesses. And give tax breaks to foreign investors because, you know, we don't need money. Good. Outcry against illegal immigration, racial tension, hospital overcrowding, new situation. Because we cut hospital funding, that got a little bit silly. Well, that's okay. And we're still making $3 billion despite going to outer space, which I think is crazy. So let's go to outer space for one more turn and see what happens. A message from this chick. She says, if you don't make religious people happier, I'll be mad at you. And we knew that was going to happen when we hired her, that eventually she would tell us about how great religious people are and we should be nice to them. Internet tracking. No internet tracking. I'm sorry. I'm not even going to read it. You can't do that. I play video games. I do not support internet tracking. Okay, we're still making $5 billion. Everyone still loves us. The election is coming up. And credit rating upgraded again. Internet crime is starting to take over the world. We could fight it somehow. We're not going to decrease technology. So we're just going to need to fight the crime. Alright, internet crime. How do we fight you? Is lowering GDP increasing crime? But I don't think we can get rid of it. It's just like good enough. Alright, so state health services. We're making a $9 billion surplus. I'd like to pay for serious illnesses and see if that makes our hospitals less overcrowded. A leader dies suddenly. Okay. I'm still in charge, but I'm dead. Interesting. Didn't know that could happen. Urban overcrowding because our infrastructure is suffering because we need better roads, but I'm already paying as much as I can for roads. We need better technology, we need better agriculture, telecommuting. I don't know, our infrastructure is quite good. So maybe this is bad. I assumed that it was okay, and that we just expand the cities to overrun the countryside because we lifted the restrictions that said you have to not build cities in this area. Like, we'll import all of our food and just have cities everywhere. Power block switch. There's an urgent policy question. Do you want a new alliance or do you want to join non-aligned movement? Let's be aligned. I know that our patriots and just people in general don't like to be under the wing of a powerful ally, but I think that's nice. It's nice because I've played a lot of EU4, and I think if you get the chance to ally a big nation, you should. Why not? Debt protection law. Let's allow people to collect the debt because that'll allow people to borrow. And if a couple people get thrown under the bus in order to let everyone have credit cards, I'm okay with it. Chancellor resigns Nobel Prize. I won the Nobel Prize for not hiring a cool chancellor. Nobel Prize for Peace. All right, I'm just fast forwarding to the end of the game because I feel like we already won. Good. All right, we won. That's it. See ya. Now we'll start playing as a different nation and see what new challenges arise from whatever other African nations. There should be a win screen. Okay, new game. Next nation. The Republic of Botswana is large. I should probably start a new video for showing the nation.